Hello students, welcome to Semi English class. I am Didi Potadar from Madhmik Vidyalaya Varode. Today we will learn mathematics new topic named as
Basic Concepts in Geometry पार्ट 3. यामध्ये आपण प्रमेयाशी उपयुक्त असे काही संकल्पना व संबोध अभ्यासणार आहोत. Conditional statements and converse. The statements which can be written in the if-then form are called conditional statement. The part of the statement following if is called the antecedent. The part of the statement following then is called the consequent. For example, statement: the opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. Above statement in conditional form as if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, then opposite angles of that quadrilateral are congruent. Here, antecedent: a quadrilateral is a parallelogram is known as antecedent, and opposite angles of that quadrilateral are congruent. This part known as consequent. Next point is converse statement. It is statement that interchange the antecedent and consequent of conditional statement. Theorem: a property can be proved logically, then it is called a theorem. Proof: the logical arrangement made to prove a theorem is called its proof. Give one. Antecedent part of conditional statement is known as give one. To prove. Consequent part of conditional statement is to prove. Indirect proof. This type of proof starts with an assumption that the consequent is false. Means direct and indirect, two types of proofs here, and here some concepts. Antecedent means पूर्वार्ध, पूर्वांग. Consequent, उत्तरार्ध, उत्तरांग. Theorem, प्रमेय. Proof, सिद्धता. Given, पक्ष. To prove, साध्य. म्हणून प्रमेय अभ्यासत असताना आपणाला या सर्व संकल्पनेचा पूर्णपणे बोध करून घेणे आवश्यक आहे. Practice set 1.3. First question, write the following statements in if-then form. Sub-question first, the diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. Solution, if quadrilateral is a rectangle, then diagonals are congruent. Here, quadrilateral is a rectangle. This part is antecedent and diagonals are congruent. This part is consequent. Next, in isosceles triangle, the segment joining the vertex and the midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. Solution, if a triangle is an isosceles, then segment joining vertex of the triangle and the midpoint of the base is perpendicular to the base. Question number second, write converses of the following statements. Sub-question first, the alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. Above statement in conditional form as follows. If two lines are parallel, then alternate angles made by their transversal are congruent. Convert this in converse form. Here, changing antecedent and consequent. If alternate angles made by two lines and their transversal are congruent, then lines are parallel. Second, the diagonals of the rectangle are congruent. First, you convert this in the conditional form and then convert in the converse form. Its conditional form. If quadrilateral is a rectangle, then diagonals are congruent. So, its converse, if the diagonals of the quadrilateral are congruent, then that quadrilateral is a rectangle. आतापर्यंत ज्या संकल्पना व संबोध आपण अभ्यासलेला आहोत त्या सर्वांचा वापर थेरम सोडवत असताना कशा प्रकारे करतात ते आपण सहज एक उदाहरण घेऊन पाहणार आहोत. थेरम, the diagonals of rectangles are congruent. Here A, B, C, D are vertices of a rectangle. AB, DC congruent because opposite sides of rectangle are congruent. So BC congruent to AD. Here AC and BD are diagonals of this rectangle. Given quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle. To prove AC congruent BD, proof in triangle ABC and triangle BCD, side AB congruent side DC, because these are opposite sides of rectangle. Next, angle ABC congruent angle BCD. Here both are right angled. Next, BC congruent to BC, this is a common side. So 1, 2, 3 gives us triangle ABC congruent triangle BCD. This test known as SAS test. Here S stands for this pair. Corresponding sides are congruent here. Angle stands for this pair of angle which are corresponding and congruent, and next S for pair of sides which are congruent. So AC congruent BD. So CSCT means corresponding sides of congruent triangle. So our conclusion, the diagonals of the rectangle are congruent.